Okay, so I'm looking at my daughter's head here, and because she has curly hair, part of the issue, and because we've talked about this, right, is that the hair, as it's growing, it's curling back into her scalp, right? Which makes it itchy, especially when it starts to dry out because it's scabbing, and that's what scabs do, right? So I put a little bit of polysporin on here, and I've moved the hair away with my fingers, and you can see here. And what's happening is when she's trying to, you know, because it's itchy and scratching, you know, she's pulling, and I guess when it's scabbing up, it's pulling and it's ripping the scalp. So this is why some of these gouges are getting bigger. And then, you know, we've got him. This one here, I'd like to do a little more. Yeah, stop scratching.
That one's really dry. That's really bad, eh?
Hold on.
That's some weird shit going on that one.
And then there's this one on the side.
It's got bigger. Huh.
Hold on, where is it? Right there. Yeah, it's getting much bigger. You gotta. Well, she's gonna have to, and she just has to, for a week, sit in the house and let me braid her hair the way it is right now. And then this is another big one here. It is painful, and because the hair is curly, as it's trying to grow back out, it's curling back into it, and it's making it worse. And it's nerves, and it's nervous breakdown. That's what this is. My daughter is admitted to having a nervous breakdown. And if you notice, it's only her mom that's helping her here. Yeah, I don't see no social workers helping with this. This is the result of social workers. From December 11th on, in the middle of winter, kicking my family out into the streets like they did in 2003 in January. And only that time they kicked out 5 dependent children with a mother and an old man and a dog. Yep, onto the streets. That's where we went. I had, what, a month to pack up a house after living there for 7 years. And then I had to wheel and deal with my landlord so I could have an extra 15 days to remove the remaining stuff that I didn't leave behind, because I left a lot of stuff behind because I was doing a lot of yard work, and, you know, I built a playground and everything there for the kids. But, and then it's been kind of just pretty rough ride. Hold on here. This camera's all blurry. Gotta give it a chance to catch up. So, anyway, we get the gist of it. Okay, members, friends, and creepers. What you just seen there was my daughter's scalp trying to heal. And because she has curly hair, it's growing back into the scalp, so it makes it even more itchier. So that's why she's, you know, scratching, right? That explains part of the reason. The other part is she's been very depressed and feeling very suicidal. She's never felt suicidal in terms of the context of the word suicide, to, you know, self-commit suicide. You know, yes, she was an addict prior to having, you know, the baby, and, you know, some people see addiction as, you know, self-destruction or form of suicide. But in terms of, like, you know, people cutting a wrist or something like that, is, you know, they don't, like, through my years of dealing with professional people who deal with people with addiction, when my daughter was younger and we were going through the Youth Justice Act, and I had youth workers work with my daughter when my daughter was a teenager, even in those days, they didn't see the addiction as a mental illness and treat it as a mental illness, versus it was a choice that the teenager was making to, you know, to do the drugs. And therefore, it was easy for people that were within the system to manipulate the direction in which my daughter's rehab was centered around, versus dealing with the mental health aspect of it and just the maturity level of my daughter in relation to, you know, personal growth, because everybody grows at different rates. And we're kind of back at that again, right? Where, you know, social services, they know what's going on. They can sit on the other end of the camera and act like they don't know, and, you know, just use their paperwork to their advantage. But, you know, when they're saying they're working with the mother, I'd like to know how they're working with the mother, because there's no evidence to show that they are. It's been 4 months since they first initially offered the program for my daughter to go for 3 months for life skills and whatever else the program was offering. And at that time it was offered with the baby, so mom and baby go together for 3 months, and if not that, then mom would go and baby would stay with me for 3 months. That was December 6th, and let me remind you, they came into my house, they sat down in my chair, and they gave me an ultimatum: kick out my daughter or lose my grandson. I told my daughter not to come home. And she agreed, considering the ultimatum that was given to the family at that time. And since then, we're now to the point where, you know, my daughter is struggling with, you know, trying to get back onto methadone. It's not something that doctors can prescribe very quickly, because if they give too much at one time, you know, they can actually kill them. So it's like a weaning process. They have to wean them back up into a level where, you know, those things that attach themselves to the part where people crave heroin are all capped up, so that, you know, that craving is no longer there. And so my daughter is, you know, working towards that, but that doesn't solve this issue, where initially it started with depression, anxiety, you know, self-hate, you know, doubt, loneliness, fear, you know, being petrified to be out in the streets and having to cope with that after years of, you know, having a normal life and being happy and being productive and actually looking forward to working on things and, you know, getting involved in the community when she was helping me with the community stuff that I was doing. And then to have that all come crashing down, you know, it's like she said, I wish I could come home and sleep in my own bed. And she couldn't. So she did the best that she could. And under those circumstances, you know, what started off as, you know, maybe wanting to commit suicide, you know, and self whatever, now it's now like it's not only, it's more like, you know, trying to, you know, it's itchy. So we have to give my daughter credit for showing us that, right? And for allowing me to talk about this, because this is important. Because, you know, she's sitting here telling me how she used to have beautiful hair, and I'm agreeing with her, and I don't know what else to say other than, you know, make plans to stay home for the next few days so we can keep your hair braided. You know, I can come every few hours with the polysporin, you know, release some of those hairs that are curling back into the scalp, and, you know, we'll change the pillowcase every day, right? So, you know, we'll just let it try and heal, and hopefully within a week, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, you know, she'll be able to move on from that. And you know, survive and get better. But at the provocation of social services with their you know, malice, in my opinion, that's, you know, with their malice, because they're not helping, I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm really tired. I have a headache, but I felt this was important to put up